In studio right now, he's running for Oneida County Court Judge, is Rob Bauer. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So, despite what anybody says, you never know what it's like to run in a political campaign or a judicial campaign, whatever campaign, until you've run in a political campaign.
Until you've done it, yeah.
Walk a mile in the shoes.
Wow, yeah. This has been one incredible learning experience. I have to say, overall, very, very positive. I've stayed out of politics. I've never run for anything before. But some of the people I've met, incredible people, nothing but positive experiences from start to finish.
And it's difficult running in a judicial race because you're so limited. You're really forced to kind of stay out of politics, even though you're running a political campaign. It's
difficult. A little tricky. You have to kind of navigate things the right way so you don't get yourself in trouble. But at the same time, I'm comfortable with those rules. I'm not a hyper-political person, and I like the idea that you can't mudsling and call each other names. I think people have had enough of that.
We've seen a lot of it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so give people some background. In the DA's office, talk about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I've spent the majority of my nearly 20 years now as a practicing attorney working in the world of prosecution in the district attorney's office. The majority of my career working in Oneida County Court, the courtroom where I now hope to serve as our next judge. Over the course of the many years I've been in this line of work now, I've handled over 1,000 serious felony offenses. We're talking about everything across the spectrum of the penal law, not just one category of cases, but everything from murder to attempted murder to shootings and stabbings and drug dealing and arson. It's across the spectrum.
And talk about, as county court judge, what type of cases you will be looking at.
Sure. Well, it's exactly the type of work that I've spent my career in to date. Well, you know, county court has been my workplace every day. And the type of cases that are dealt with there, it's primarily a criminal court. You know, 99% of the cases there are criminal cases. So it's the bread and butter work that I've done every day.
I want to ask you about how working your work experience will serve you for this position and why people should pay attention to it.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, the type of work that we do in the district attorney's office, our work every day is in county court. It's prosecuting criminal cases. And so I've handled so many different kinds of cases over the years. You learn the subtleties and the nuances and the legal technicalities that are required. I've indicted hundreds and hundreds of cases through the grand jury. Some people don't realize, unless you've served on a grand jury, that there's no judge in the courtroom physically. The prosecutor has to actually serve dual roles. It's called a quasi-judicial role. You serve in the role of a judge in the grand jury room. You actually have to make rulings on evidence. You have to admit those items of evidence. You give instructions to a jury just like a judge does in a jury trial. In addition to my work in the grand jury, I've had a couple dozen different very serious felony trials, everything from murder to attempted murder to arson cases, burglary, robbery, home invasions. All of those types of things are what go on in our county court and the type of work that I'll do as our judge.
So we yesterday had a caller when your opponent, Mike Arcuri, was on, asked him the question about Second Amendment. It's a key issue for a lot of people. Yeah. And in a judicial race, I think it's very important for those that really support gun rights and the Second Amendment. Where do you stand on gun rights?
Sure. I can answer that within certain confines. You know, we're not allowed to take the firmest stand on anything. But what I can tell you is this. About my background and where I come from, I've grown up with shooting sports with firearms. I'm a concealed pistol permit carrier. I have my permit. I've taken my boys to Boy Scout camp and done shotgunning with them, and I'm an NRA member. I'm the only candidate in this race that's received an A rating from SCOPE, the Shooters Committee on Political Education. You know, I get a lot of questions from folks when I'm knocking on doors about Second Amendment and the SAFE Act and that kind of stuff. And what I can tell you is that the Second Amendment, the Constitution, trumps any statute, be it the SAFE Act or otherwise, if there was something in there that was unconstitutional.
Did you use the Trump word on purpose? Did you choose that word on purpose?
I did not. I think it's subconscious.
It's a subconscious word that I've been using it like for the, I don't know what it is. Maybe we're just getting so much media in here, but it's a word that just pops out, and I'm like, oh my God, I guess that's so funny. That
the game of pitch will never be the same for those who play it in Central New York.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good point. I had said to Mike Arcuri that I would ask you both this question. When you're there and you're facing a judge and the decision comes back, have you ever been in a situation, and I don't need you to name names, I know you wouldn't anyway, but where you really felt that you weren't given a fair shake when you were trying to prosecute? and or defend someone. I'm not sure if you have done that in your history, but
sure.
Have you ever been there? And have you learned anything from that, if it has happened, that would help you in the position of being a county court judge?
Yeah, well, I can say that I've never had a bad experience like that where I walked out of the courtroom with a black cloud over my head and said, wow,
that wasn't fair.
That was terrible. That was unfair. Something that happened that shouldn't have absolutely happened. I know and love and trust the system of justice that we have. It's not perfect, but I can say in my own personal, professional experience, I've never had a case go south where I said, wow, that was drastically wrong what just happened there.
It's hard. At the end of the day, somebody's going to come out a winner and somebody's going to come out a loser.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult position. I guess the goal is, as a judge, would be to be as fair as you possibly can.
Well, and in reality, the job as a prosecutor, it's not necessarily about did I win or did I lose.
Right.
I walk out of the courtroom and I say, did justice get done? Period.
Right.
We don't expect to win every case. We're not supposed to win every case. Being a prosecutor isn't about racking up convictions and putting notches on your belt. It's at the end of the day, can you go home and say, we did justice today? And for the last 20 years, I've been able to go home and lay my head peacefully on my pillow at night and say I did the right thing. And
have you ever had a case that you felt that that maybe it didn't turn out the way that you thought it should have turned out?
I had one case, and it's not something I lose sleep over. I had one case where two drug dealers kind of had a little war going on with each other, and one had shot the other.
Mm-hmm.
And my victim in that case that had been shot, he was actually brought in from prison for a drug conviction, and he got on the stand and testified in a way that I certainly wasn't expecting. And,
right.
It turned into one of these, I don't want to help you out if I don't have to.
Got it. Andrew.
Yeah, so in the same token, have you ever been prosecuting a case and have had the defense prove to you even that the person you were prosecuting was maybe innocent?
Not like in the context of a trial, but I'll tell you, I'm very open-minded. Defense attorneys, you can ask anybody in the defense bar if they have a legitimate concern and they call me up and say, you need to look at this. There's something not right, or I'm not sure that your complainant's telling the full story. I've had that happen numerous times, and I've gone ahead and I said, yeah, you know what? This isn't right. I've reduced charges. I've dismissed charges where we don't feel that there's merit to it.
And by following the letter of the law as a judge, does it, because a judge gets to really, we'll tell the jury in some cases, you can't watch any media. We need to select jurors that have not been influenced by the story one side or the other. But as a judge, you're gonna see stuff, you're gonna hear stuff, you'll know behind the scenes issues. How do you remain fair without passing judgment? And is it just by following the letter of the law?
That's exactly what you have to do. Yeah. You put everything aside that you think you know, and what matters in a court of law is evidence. Period. What is admissible and what comes in, and you're there to be a fair arbiter of the facts. You're there, in a sense, as a referee. The prosecution puts on their case, the defense tests that case, and the jury makes the ultimate decision. You're there to make sure that the process is 100% fair from start to finish.
You've been with the DA's office for a while. Are you seeing, there's a general feel in America right now where, and here as well, it's just things are so much worse than they used to be. You see it, and from the start of your career to now, are we worse today?
I don't think so. I think we're more sensitive and people understand, and there's more scrutiny on the system. And I can tell you that prosecution in the world of criminal justice has become more progressive in how they look at things. We do things now in the district attorney's office like the Second Chance program, where after so many years of somebody being crime-free, they can apply and say, look, I've done nothing but good things with my life since that mistake I made years ago, and they can have a conviction expunged and go back to a clean slate. We do things like a veterans diversion program, recognizing that vets coming back from overseas with PTSD that may get involved with substance abuse or something. We have a program set up where they can have go into treatment and get themselves back on track and not necessarily wind up with a criminal record as a result.
All right, finally, why should people, as I said to your opponent yesterday, pull your lever, even though we don't pull levers anymore?
Sure. Well, the bottom line is, Bill, I'm in this for the right reasons. I care about this community and the people of Oneida County. I've devoted my life and my work, my professional experience to public service, not just as a prosecutor in the DA's office, but serving the community as a volunteer firefighter EMT with the Maynard Fire Department over here, coaching youth sports, been a Boy Scout leader, the Ride for Missing Children, you name it, and I do these things because I genuinely care and love this community. I want to do my part to help make it a better place. with the skill set that I've developed over the years as a trial attorney, I can serve our community best as our next judge.
All right, Rob Bauer, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bill.
Wish that it'll be over soon. All those commercials on TV will be over soon.
19 days, not that I'm counting or
not
anything.
That you're counting. So. All right, good stuff. Rob Bauer, thank you.
Thank you.
Running for Oneida County Court Judge.